Hey up and welcome to another Confident Club Cuppa, and I'm with somebody. If I get you to introduce yourself, Leon.
Okay, I'm Leon Taylor. I used to fall off a diving board for a living, and I spend my time commentating for the BBC, coaching and speaking.
Yeah, when it says fall off a diving board, he actually won a silver medal in the 10 metre platform dive in Athens, but he's too modest to tell you that. Anyway, he's a very experienced presenter, to say the least. He's got a fantastic TED Talk, which I give a link to. But I thought it'd be useful on our workshop and stuff, where I talk about you a lot, Leon, and I talk about how you deal with when you get this feeling of fear. So tell me about how the TED Talk came about and how, from beginning to end, briefly.
Yes, okay. Well, TED Talks are the place that I go for inspiration. The greatest speakers on the planet have stood on that stage, and so I've always shied away from it because of fear, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I enjoy speaking to big audiences for 45 minutes to an hour, but nailing down, the TED is like one idea worth spreading. I had loads of ideas I like spreading. And so
my thought is always it's going to be there forever.
Yeah. Well, there is that as well. So forever on YouTube, and it's an indelible mark, isn't it, on your brand as a speaker. And so when in the past I've always been like, oh no, I'm keeping my content to myself. I'll do it for live audience. I had all these narratives, but really it was fear-based, if I'm honest. And I had to come face to face with the fear when a friend of mine called me out. She went, "Oh, Leon, I've just got this email from the organizer of a TEDx event in London. She's asking me if I want to be involved, but I think you should do it." And I went, "Oh, no. And then I came up with all of the reasons of why I shouldn't do a TED Talk.
Does that, when you get fear, because you've just, like I said, silver medal and all that, that's the feeling, I assume. You suddenly go, ow. Yeah, so that's a sympathetic nervous system hijack. That's like run out the door. Science.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, how does that show up for me? So, like this, my stomach goes into knots, my jaw goes tight, my breathing goes shallow, and I'm ready to run, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I felt like, and that was my reaction. And then I realised that was my reaction. And I said, well, I'm doing a TED Talk, and that was it.
Let's just do a time out there, right? So most normal people who haven't been elite athletes like what you have, right, and you've done all sorts of stuff since you retired that's insane. You just tell me about running up Mont Blanc like for 12 hours. But anyway, most people, when they get that feeling, as you said, would run in the other direction. But you've trained yourself, I guess, to go, because I feel like this, it means I definitely need to do it. Would that be right?
Yeah, I think, you've got to, people follow your behaviours, not what you say.
Yes.
And I talk about, people overcoming their limiting beliefs or boundaries, and, it's all made up, right? And then if I don't take on mine, then I'm a fraud. And it's always been like that for me. So I hated running, and therefore, because of that, I thought, how interesting. Now I'm not competing in diving anymore. I've got no excuse not to. Yeah. So I wonder where that resistance is. So I ran the London Marathon 12 months after retiring from competing. And so that where I started to go, okay, so if I can test it on myself, then I'm much more, I have a much more powerful message when I'm working with people.
So coaches out there, should have a cliche about really, walk the talk and all that. Right, so back to the TED Talk, right? Because then there's another part to this that fascinated me. So you told me this before about, you've got that feeling like, must do one. So there's a distinction. There's TED Talks where they have to ask you, they might ask us one day, and there's TEDx where you can volunteer. So you have to go through a process, didn't you? And I think you apply. I don't think you were arrogant, Leon, but you said in your proposal, I think fully expecting them to go, oh, Leon Taylor, we'll have you, but that's not what happened, is it?
No, it definitely wasn't. Yeah, so there was over 450 applications, and there are 16 speakers on the day.
Wow!
And I was one of those applications, and Alex Merry, who was the curator. Great guy, superb coach, so maybe I was thinking, oh great, that would be, maybe it'll be a nice. I sent in my my proposal, and the feedback was, that's okay, but it needs to be better. Which is perfect. That's exactly what you need to say to me. We're not quite good enough.
Yeah. So even so, he's a very experienced speaker, right? So now you've got to do that bit of the work. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of a process, but just to kind of round off this story, so you dealt with that fear. I'm going to do it. Yeah. Eventually, you did get your proposal accepted, and I think then he said, "Send me a video," didn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
But you thought, well, I don't have a video till I do my TED Talk. What did he? So what was that about?
Yeah. So it's interesting. So I tried to film it, but I made a bit of a mess. Private links on YouTube, etc. And in the end, I managed to get it across. And then the next thing I know, he invites me to a meeting. So we're going to meet
in London.
Yeah, in London. We're going to meet at Hyde Park.
Okay.
And I kind of had a suspicion what might be coming, and I was right. So I stood there, not on Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, but when it wasn't Speaker's Corner, and to no one, I had to deliver my TED talk. Well, I say no one, to him and my other friend who'd come along.
But I'm assuming there were some possibly passers-by.
Well, this is what happened. There was a massive crowd. Kind of people are just like, who's this guy talking to like two people?
And you were talking about how to use your body to change how you feel and all that.
How to manage your mental health. And and the most distracting thing, and this is why it's such a great stretch, because if I could present in Hyde Park to a load of people who are walking by on their phones, some people started filming me, it was chaotic, right? Yeah. And I have to remember, my narrative, what I'm doing. And the hardest thing with the TED Talk is making sure that you're succinct. You've got this, time window, which is unusual for us, because it's quite indulgent, really, having an audience for an hour. Yeah. I could tell stories.
Anyway. TED Talk's 18 minutes, is it?
Yeah, that's
you have to nail it, and they kind of pull the power, don't they, really? So let's just summarise that. Great, right? So we talk about process, talk about doing things. So if I was to summarise that, I would be, next time you get one of those feelings, and especially if you're coach, you go, I need to deal with this, whatever it is. So in your case, TED Talk, whatever your thing is, right?
Be curious, find out what it is. Yeah.
And then the other thing, you went through a process, didn't you? Because it's like, well, I sent it off, it wasn't good enough, I'll send it off again. And then, having not even a dry run, but something that is even more challenging than the actual thing. When you taught my daughter, I think a good example of that, when you taught my daughter Megan to dive when she was 12, and he said, just leave her for an hour with me, or an hour and a half, when he was diving out Sheffield. And I went and I came back, and they were diving, amazing, right? And I think that's because you've been on Hollyoaks, right? That was the main thing. But they trusted you. But one way he did that was he took them on the 10-metre platform first, didn't you?
Yep.
And got them to look down, so that when they went on the 5-metre platform, so sometimes doing something that's might even scarier than the thing you're going to do might be a good strategy, would you say? Yeah,
overstretch, and then wherever you come back to, that level of comfort will be there. And that was certainly the case. Don't get me wrong, when you're on the TEDx stage and the lights are there and the cameras are rolling, it's proper performance overwhelm, but if you're prepared, you can, the preparation takes you everywhere, as we know. So that was my preparation.
Well, let's finish on that. Preparation takes you anywhere. I'll say that.